Hey, how's it going, fellow Trojans and loyal vassals? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Legend of Zelda Link Between Worlds DX figure. Now if you're wondering why I have two here, that's because there was a bit misunderstanding on my end. So, as the title would suggest, I'm not exactly sure who to blame. Either it's Max Factory, the people who manufactured the figure, or Good Smile Company, whoever. I'd like to blame someone whose ever idea was it that to include every single item that is quintessential to the Link character in the DX set, which is only an exclusive to the Good Smile Company online shop, and leave the standard version leaving nothing. Pretty much he's barren. All he comes with his face, shield, and sword, and the figure, that's about it. Oh yeah, and the Figma stand and hands and whatnot. But you can clearly see everything that makes up for, or everything that makes Link the Link figure that we know all, or at least the Link character that we all know and love. All the items that are essential to him. You have the hook shot, I don't remember the name of this thing. It was that weird twirly thing that lets you fly into the air for a brief moment. Baby Mai, a pot, you know, where the rupees come from, a bomb, you know, here's a rupee right there. All the stuff that the Link figure is, or the character, I keep saying the figure, the character is in this box, but it's exclusive to the online shop for some reason. I want to blame somebody. I don't know whose idea was it, but I don't like it. Because originally, here's the part why I got two. Originally, because I was very much excited to get the Link figure. I was, excitement took over me. I didn't bother to read the details at what figure came with what. So I went with I wanted to get two, one with the standard 1DX, because I thought the standard version was in fact going to come with all this shebang, all the bells and whistles. I thought that the standard was going to come with all that stuff, and that the exclusive, because normally when it comes to Good Smile Company exclusives on the online shop, it's only one item that's exclusive to the figure, and it's not really going to make or break the figure. It's just going to be one of those things where you decide, do I want to get this figure just for that one item or not? And I thought that was the case here, where I thought the standard was going to come with all this stuff, and that the only thing that the one exclusive item was going to be the look on the back is the little portrait here, when when he goes into the wall in the game. I literally thought that was the only item that was going to be exclusive to the DX set, and I would have been perfectly fine with that. Obviously, I'm sure there was going to be some people complaining still, like saying, well, why doesn't the DX figure come, or why does the standard come with this thing, that kind of stuff. But I think that would have been a more appropriate approach to this thing, rather than having all the quintessential items that Link needs in the DX set. So that is some shady stuff. I think the only other time I've seen this was with that Iron Man figure from the first Avengers movie. The Iron Man Figma came with a whole bunch of stuff and like a separate head to show Tony Stark underneath. It was just like the same deal kind of thing. So yeah, I got nothing more to say about that issue. I'll just mention that I actually prefer, I guess this is more of a matter of taste, I actually prefer the standards box where it has gold, black, and here's the number is green, whereas this one is reversed, and I don't really like this color scheme. However, I will admit I do like the Triforce decorations going on. That's pretty fancy, I like that, but I overall prefer the box on this set. So that leaves me with this figure, and if possible, I'd like to, I have a lot of, not just this figure in particular, I have a few other box figures that I'd like to get rid of. Ideally, I'd like to sell them, but they're not going to be worth much anymore. So if possible, I'd like to give them away. Only problem is I don't know how to do such a thing. I might have to look, I know that one guy from Video Game Seller, Scott Squatch. I watch him. He does giveaways, but I found out mistaken. He uses a form of social media, which is Facebook, and I don't really have stuff like that. So I don't know if someone can let me know how I could go approach this, because I don't really want this figure anymore, because I thought, like I said, I thought it was going to come with all that stuff. So I'm willing to part ways with this. Now, I'm not going to sell it. I'm just going to hold on to it for now, unless I can figure out a way to give this figure away to somebody. And I have other figures maybe I'll show off in the future, but that's pretty much, I'll leave it at that. One final thing I will say is that I don't like the fact that this is a double-sized box. I don't know if you can kind of see, even in the standard box, there's a lot of space in the background, and I kind of wish that rather than making us, because they could have easily added a second tray behind the figure to fit all these items. They didn't have to make this box double the size and put everything in the front. They could have easily placed it in the back, but that's just a matter of preference for me anyways. Let's get on to the figure. I guess I should also real quick mention is that if you're hoping that the standard box that I'm potentially giving away at some point, if you're hoping that it is a sealed copy, I did have to open it only because I wanted to make sure that everything was in there, you know, make sure everything was there. So I mean, this is pretty much going to be a, if you like playing with your figures, kind of giveaway kind of thing. So don't expect a sealed Link Between Worlds Figma, because I did open it only to check that everything was there. Aside from that, I haven't touched it, so yeah. Alright, and here we go. Here we have the Figma, and he looks absolutely adorable. I mean, he is very small. He's about like 4 inches. Here's I guess a relative, I'll go into a little bit more detail, but here's just a quick comparison of size difference. Here we have the Skyward Sword Figma. I mean, he is slightly, his knees are slightly bent, so he's not perfectly standing tall, but you can clearly see how small this Link Between Worlds Figma is. He is tiny and adorable. Let me just put you back over here. So there's nothing too crazy going on in terms of articulation. Let's see if I can get it focused here. Very, I don't know, it's just adorable. Like, he looks like classic Link. Well, I mean, he is classic Link, you know, with the hair, the tunic, the brown sleeves. I like it. I'm still hoping that they release a Ocarina of Time Link. I know if you've seen the Wonder Festival event, they showed off the prototype for the, or I guess it was finished prototype of the painted Twilight Sword Link Figma, and he looks freaking amazing. I mean, he I don't know, speechless, but that's a different thing. So yeah, he has pretty much the same kind of hair, or I mean a hat moving articulation like the Skyward Sword Figma, but if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the Skyward Sword Figma links, there seem to be like a gap in between the two spaces here, but here it's like perfectly fleshed, and you can move it around. That's impressive stuff. Standard Figma. I don't know if it's on a ball joint. Let me actually real quick check. Okay, no, it's just standard Figma pegged into the head kind of thing. Nothing fancy there. There we go. So you can move it down, up, and his bangs are made of soft PVC, so they don't get in the way. He does not have the feature where you can pull out his shoulders, but I'm pretty sure they dropped that idea. A lot of Figmas don't seem to use that feature anymore. So you can't really get his arm across his chest, because I mean, this thing is somewhat soft PVC, but it's not enough so you can move it across his chest, which sucks if you want to get some really cool sword fighting poses. But I mean, you can still get him into, you know, sword fighting poses. It's just, you know, it's not going to be as dynamic. That's what I'm trying to say. Single jointed elbow, and this little bracelet is actually, this is the thing that allowed it to morph into walls, right? That thing, it's actually a separate piece, so if you wanted to, you can take this off and apply it to other Figmas just for the lulz. It is on a separate piece. His wrist joint, you know, standard Figma stuff. He has waist articulation, not much of an ab crunch at all, or none whatsoever, I think. Yeah, no ab crunch. You can move it back. I don't know what it is. I think it's just a ball joint, but I can't really see it, so you can't really get any crunch at all, which is, for me personally, because I love articulation, I would have preferred it, but it's no big deal. Basic stuff. His tunic is actually separated in, or I mean I don't know if this part, I always thought it was a skirt, but I guess this is one piece. Anyways, it is separated into 2 segments right here, so you can allow for greater posabilities, doesn't get in the way of the leg articulation, which, by the way, it is on a ball joint. And for whatever reason, I feel like the left leg on mine is slightly like, you know, you see how this one is perfectly straight, this one is kind of going straight and then off to the side. That kind of sucks. I'm not gonna let it get the better of me, because I know for a fact if this was me of 2 years ago, I would have certainly went online immediately after seeing that slight defect. I would have bought another Figma Link, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna accept it and love your imperfections. But that is what's going on with mine. It is going down slightly to the side. Single jointed elbow, knee joint. And probably the most interesting feature for a Figma in general is that he actually has a ball joint at the actual ankle. Like here, it's connected to a peg into the foot, but the actual see if you can kind of see it. There's a ball joint actually right here in this piece, which allows for slightly more easier posability. And because this figma joint is pegged into the actual foot, you can move it side to side, and it just makes it more easier to pose the figure. And that's kind of interesting. First, I'm pretty sure that's a first for Figma, although I could be wrong. But that is the figure. Pretty basic stuff, and I can't wait to start posing this guy. Let's look at what he comes with, which I kind of have everything. Whoa! Please ignore that. Let's see if I can kind of stay. So for accessories, let's take a look at the Hylian shield and sword, or I mean the Master Sword. Nice details, looking clean, man. And this actually looks like a different color of blue compared to the Skyward Sword shield. See if I can real quickly take a look at them. Yeah, see, this is kind of more of a blue. I don't know my color, so I don't really know what to compare them to, but you can see the different shades of blue. Pretty neat. Although I do like the triangle dimensions on this one. It has more depth to it. This one's more flat, the triangle. The Triforce is what I'm trying to say. There's that. Actually, let's take a look at the swords. See how, if I can kind of see them. You can kind of see the differences. This one has more stuff going on in there. By the way, I never played Skyward Sword, believe it or not. I remember being so hyped for it, but then I heard a lot of things about it, that it was more of a fetch quest kind of game, a lot of backtracking. I'll still play it eventually. If they ever make a Skyward Sword HD, which I believe it's going to happen eventually for the NX or something like that, then I'll play it. For now, I'm just going to put it on the back burner of games I have to play. I did beat Link Between Worlds, and I think I'm like at 99% finished, like completing it, like unlocking everything. The only thing I'm missing is I think it's some sort of lamp item or something where you have to go fight in a battle royale or something like that. The heart pieces were a pain to get, specifically one if you've ever, I know I'm kind of detracting here, but if you ever played the mini game in Link Between Worlds, like I think it was a baseball game with the Octorocks. We had to shoot, you had to hit the baseball or something like that and knock him into certain objects. That thing was so random, it didn't even work. I don't know. That was so frustrating. That was like the last heart I needed to get. It was so frustrating. But anyways, that's besides the point. Moving on. For his DX exclusive items, let's just take a quick look. Here is his bomb. It's kind of gross that you can see the seam line right there. So there's that. There's a little peg right here for his hand for him to hold it. It's kind of already lit. The little adorable baby Mai, so sad. He is missing his mommy. One standard green rupee. And it has its own little stand. This pot to put said rupee in. His hookshot, which comes with two forms. Here is the hookshot before it's extracted, and then here it is before. It's a little peg right here, so you can peg it in there. Nice stuff. I like it. Wish it came with the standard, but what are you gonna do? And he came with his I cannot for the life of me know what the name of this thing is. It is segmented into 3 pieces, which is this top cap, which you can remove and get rid of this material here if you don't want it to have the spinning effect. It's also segmented right here, so you can have it easy to put into the wrist. Beware, that is a tiny peg. You don't want to break it, so don't apply too much force. Put this back there. There's that. Here it comes with this the form that he takes when he merges into walls. Pretty cool. It's on this little stand here, which I guess you can use for the Figma stand if you wanted to have it posed against walls or something. See it right there. And for hands, these are the hands he came with. There's the bomb holding hand, both left and right. The sword holding hand, open palm hands. If I'm not mistaken, the standard Figma does not come with open palm hands, so that's yeah, further insult. And finally, this little pig wrist in case you lose it. I kind of always wanted them to come with 2 of these rather than just 1. But that's something else entirely. And finally, he comes with this face, which is his serious face. So he comes with a serious face and his happy face, both of which I like. I actually kind of wish he came with a yelling face, but aside from that, awesome. I mean, it's not awesome the fact that he came with all this as DX online exclusive. It should have been standard in the standard with the deluxe just coming with that. But that's just my personal opinion. I think this guy's great. He could be greater if he wasn't a DX exclusive, whatnot. But I mean, go get it. I don't know what else to say. If you consider yourself a Legend of Zelda fan, you should definitely get this guy. I got nothing else to say, Link. Let's say we close this off with some pretty cool poses. Do you agree? Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one.